Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Yes. No.
Thank you all for coming today. It's always nice to thank people for coming because you've made a definite choice. You're not just drifting in here. You've definitely chosen to come here. And that's always encouraging because there are so many other things you could be doing, and also it indicates that there's a sincere desire to engage in devotional activity. And it doesn't take long to be around devotees and have the association of devotees to realize how much the association of devotees is essential in the execution of your devotional service. Hello. He's a cool customer, isn't he? Thank you, Prabhu. Hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting. Of course, we have hearing and chanting in an individual sense with our japa, but this is Sankirtan. Samyak means complete. The complete kirtan, the completion of our engagement is to chant and hear with associates. So, thank you all for coming. I'm a little nervous. It's the first time I've spoken on my own here at ISV. I was here last year and I sat with Vaisheshika Prabhu for a little and we had some exchange with the devotees. But this is the first time for me to be here in this, I guess, capacity. So in some ways it's a little daunting because well, I have to say, in the last couple of weeks of being here, how deeply impressed I am by the devotional standards of this yatra and the level of Vaishnava etiquette which is practiced. Everyone I meet is, I consider, a very elevated devotee. And of course, that's all down to the leadership of Vaisheshika Prabhu and Mother Nirkula, exceptional devotees in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And in some ways, that's in all ways, actually, that's quite overwhelming and awe-inspiring. And in some ways, for myself, a little intimidating to be speaking in this forum. So please bear with me, and we'll see where we go. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I wanted to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse number 22. Who knows this verse? Oh, that's good. I'm shocked. So this is this is a part of Shaunaka Rishi's response to the appointment of Sutta Goswami to be the Sutta at the gathering of sages at Naimisharan. And it's a very, very instructive verse. Tvangna sandashito dhatra dushtaram nistitiya shatam kalim sattva haram bhunsam kanadhara ivanavam. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of Providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. Very short but powerful purport. The age of Kali is very dangerous for the human being. Human life is simply meant for self-realization. But due to this dangerous age, men have completely forgotten the aim of life. In this age, the lifespan will gradually decrease. People will gradually lose their memory, finer sentiments, strength, and better qualities. A list of the anomalies of this age is given in the 12th canto of this work. And so this age is very difficult for those who want to utilize this life for self-realization. The people are so busy with sense gratification that they completely forget about self-realization. Out of madness, they frankly say that there is no need for self-realization because they do not realize that this brief life is but a moment on our great journey towards self-realization. The whole system of education is geared to sense gratification. And if a learned man thinks it over, he sees that the children of this age are being intentionally sent to the slaughterhouses of so-called education. Learned men, therefore, must be cautious of this age. And if they at all want to cross over the dangerous ocean of Kali, they must follow the footsteps of the sages of Naimisharanya and accept Sri Sutta Goswami or his bona fide representative as the captain of the ship. The ship is the message of Lord Sri Krishna in the shape of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Tvamna sandashito dhatra dushtaram nishtiti shitam kalim sattva haram bhunsam kanadhara ivanavam. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of Providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of the human being. Here he is again. I wanted to start discussing this verse by discussing the term used here to describe Sutta Goswami as the captain of the ship. Could you see in the word for word? Is the word for word there? No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is up above, yes. You see there? Karnadara. Karnadara. And Prabhupada gives the meaning captain. Who knows the literal meaning of Karnadara? Karna means the ear. And Dara? Sorry? Holding. Very interesting concept. You think again about ships. In all ages, from the most ancient times to present times, you have to give attention to the captain by listening to what he has to say. That's why you see, like even the ancient Viking ships, the captain would sit a little bit higher, looking at the men. And then, of course, as ships developed, you would have what they call the bridge, which is much higher than the deck, and that's where the captain is. And now, of course, the captain is always on the bridge of even the most modern ships. And you think again, like a modern ship. I remember when I was a boy, I used to watch war movies about World War II. And if there was ever a movie about a naval battle, you'd see there'd be pictures of the ship. And then when the captain wanted to speak to the sailors, there'd be a close-up of the loudspeaker, and you'd hear, "Now hear this, now hear this." And everybody on the ship would stop to listen. What's the captain going to say? So it's a very apt term, Kanada. You have to let the captain be the one, he holds your ear. He holds the attention of your ear. Attention is something we see Vaisheshika Prabhu talks about a lot. Wherever your attention goes, energy flows. So there's a focus. And I think that makes a very clear distinction between hearing and listening. There's so many sounds we're hearing around here now. That fellow just took that trolley out and went boom, boom, boom. Everybody heard that. But we're not listening to that. We're not listening to that. We're not focused on that. So the idea of listening to what the captain has to say with a clear focus and a clear intention of following what he says. Following what he says. And we see here the build-up to this statement where Shonaka Rishi glorifies Sutta Goswami for all of his qualifications, which qualify him to sit in this position and speak to not just ordinary men. It's Shonaka Rishi himself is a greatly exalted personality, and he's actually been appointed to be the representative of all of the sages there. And there are so many very elevated personalities in the audience. So he's glorifying Sutta Goswami as the one who is qualified to be the speaker, and everybody will pay attention. And it's a very profoundly serious situation that they're addressing. They're addressing the onslaught of the Kali Yuga. What to do in the face of the onslaught, the inevitable onslaught of the Kali Yuga, in which we are living, and we must never forget that. Never forget that. If one wants to cultivate a mood of humility, just study what are the conditions of Kali Yuga, and it's here very, very, very clearly. This difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being, deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. Kali Yuga is ruthless and relentless, and it can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. We've been picked up into the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we cannot actually estimate the good fortune that we've actually received, we've actually been the beneficiaries of. But we can reflect upon the fact that we are here in the Kali Yuga. What am I doing here? Why am I here? Am I a greatly elevated soul? No. This is something which will actually help us all cultivate a mood of humility. It's no great credit that we are in the human form of life in the Kali Yuga. It's a great good fortune that we are in the human form of life on this planet at this time. It's good fortune. Good fortune has arisen in our lives, but actually everything that we see around us is dragging everything down. And had we not been picked up, we would have gone down in the whirlpool of this process that is unwinding in the Kali Yuga. And as I said, it doesn't stop. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement appears like a bubble within this ocean. The Kali Yuga lasts for 432,000 years. There's a 10-year period where the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is manifest. And we just happen to be in this place at this time when this is going on. But that 10,000 years will pass, and during the time that 10,000 years will pass, Kali Yuga will proceed. Kali will proceed with his business all around us. And then when it vanishes from the world, then it's simply Kali Yuga. For another 417,000 odd years. So this is very good reason. If we have this understanding, by inconceivable mercy, by causeless mercy, this has happened. Srila Prabhupada explains that once the jiva comes into the material world, comes under the influence of the three modes of material nature, develops guna sangha. You all know the meaning of sangha, yes? Sa anga. Like, anga means a limb. So something, if you're in a sangha, it means really, it's become a part of you, or you have become a part of it. So once the living entity is in guna sangha, it's very difficult. It's very, well, it's impossible for him to get out by his own endeavors. Who knows the verse? Yes? Mameva ye prapadyante, mayamitam tarantite. Actually, it's there in the Sanskrit. If you study that verse, Devi yesha guna mayi, mama maya duratyaya. That word dur means difficult. Actually, that syllable comes all the way down into English, where you have duress, duration, endure. Dura means difficult. Durga, we know, means goes with difficulty. So, once we come under the influence of the three modes of material nature, it is, practically speaking, it is impossible to come out from under the influence of the three modes of material nature. And in this way, our sojourn in the material world begins. And this has been going on since time immemorial. Time immemorial means an inestimable amount of time, inconceivable amount of time. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada's talking about how the living entity is undergoing material miseries in this material world. He's undergoing miseries one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And then he says that in quick, trippingly, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Practically no space between. One, boom, 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 one after the other. And then he says, this has been going on since the beginning of creation. And then he says, what to speak of this creation? This has been going on for billions of creations. Of course, in those days, in the 60s and 70s, there were lots of millionaires around, but there weren't so many billionaires. So billion was a buzzword. Now we've got lots of billionaires around, and there's some people like the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, estimated to be a trillionaire. And the national debt of the United States is measured in the trillions. But it goes on. You just keep adding 3 zeros, and on it goes, endlessly. So we've been in the material world for a very long time. And Srila Prabhupada makes the point that this is the lot of all jivas in the material world. And there is no way out, no material way out. But then he says, at intervals, the living entity gets the opportunity to hear the truth. We are living in one such interval. And this is wholly and solely due to the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears once in a day of Brahma. Once every 8,600,000,000 years for just a short time. And then he sends his Senapati Bhakta to spread the Sankirtan mission all over the world. And here we are. Here we are. in the human form of life at this time on this planet. We could have been in a human form of life on any number of other planets amongst 400,000 species of human beings. Or we could have even been in the human form of life on this planet 100 years, 150 years ago. Missed the chance, missed the opportunity. So here we are by some causeless mercy, and we are able to understand the nature of our situation. Okay. We're able to understand by the mercy of this parampara, not just this parampara, but this sampradaya. More than parampara, sampradaya. There are sampradayas for so many things, or rather, I'm getting mixed up in my words, paramparas for so many things. Mayavadi parampara exists, but they are not sampradaya. Sampradaya means they are free. A sampradaya is freely giving complete knowledge. Complete knowledge. And that complete knowledge is very simple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes that very clear to Sanatana Goswami when he asks, "Who am I?" "Oh, you're the eternal servant of Krishna." All jivas are the eternal servant of Krishna. And here, we're being invited, get on the boat of transcendental knowledge. It's not just a single-hull boat. It's what do they call it, a catamaran. It's a dual-hull boat. There's Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, it's a trimaran because we had Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. Actually, these 4 books, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada made sure the essence of those books was available right from the beginning. Bhagavad Gita, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna book, and Nectar of Devotion. Actually, he said, I put everything in those books. Of course, that doesn't mean we don't read beyond, but a very, very thorough understanding of those books will really equip us for this process of self-realization, which is being discussed here in the purport, that the only purpose of the human form of life is self-realization. That's a term we use a lot, self-realization. It's like a jargon, self-realization. But what does it really mean? What does it really mean? You take the word realize. The eyes at the end of a word in English means it means something is being brought from one situation into another situation. Like we say, civilize. Why do you have to civilize something? Because it's uncivil. So why do you have to realize something? Because? Because we are unrealized. More than that, we are in an unreal conception of ourselves, a misconception. And we have to come out of that. We have to come out of that. You can't come out of that unless you become subservient to a Kanadara, somebody who holds your ear. You have to give your ear to it. Even more importantly then reading is hearing. We should understand that reading, if I sit and read quietly without, that's actually an abstraction of hearing. You can't actually read if you can't hear. Or it's very, very, very difficult to learn to read if you can't hear. Hearing is essential for our life. I mean, we're all sitting here, I'm speaking English, you're listening, you're understanding. Why? Because we heard the language and we learned to speak it, and we learned the meaning of the words through hearing. How to pronounce words and so on, how to put words together. It's all based upon hearing. But of course, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? How long do we go for? Till 5 o'clock. It's only 4:10. Maybe I'll open it up here, like any questions or reflections on what we're talking about? Yes.
Thank you so much for the class. I had a question based on what you said today and also one of the lectures you gave earlier. You said that it's very important to realize who we are and our position. Also, in the previous lecture, you said that we forget who we are, what our relationship towards Krishna is, and we forgot what type of servant we are, because each of us performs a very unique kind of like function, like we're very unique to Krishna. So I was curious, how does one realize what type of servant I am for Krishna, to Krishna? What is my importance to Krishna, or how can I serve?
Actually, that goes beyond self-realization. That is revealed to you. In one sense, to say, when Lord Chaitanya says to Sanatana Goswami, you're the eternal servant of Krishna, he's saying what you are. He's not saying you are this particular servant of Krishna. But what you are is that you are the servant of Krishna. In due course of time, in the practice of your devotional service, the Lord will reveal himself to you. That's a fact. He will reveal himself to you. And then he will reveal to you what your service is to him and what the nature of your particular relationship with him is. That is the supreme independent prerogative of the Lord. We need to understand that very carefully, that Krishna remains supremely independent. He gives us the process and the practice of devotional service and self-realization. But we can't think, well, I've got my Bhakti Shastriya, I've got my Bhakti, what's next? Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. I've got all the certificates. Now, reveal yourself to me. It's not like that. Krishna is only interested in bhav. Prabhupada talks about this on a number of occasions where he quotes the phrase, Bhavagrahi Janardhan. Bhavagrahi Janardhan. That Krishna is Janardhan, he's within your heart and he sees everything. And what he's looking for is, how are you developing love for him? So often he says, life has only two purposes, to know God and to learn to love him. That's all. And then we have we were talking on the way over, this verse. Dhamma swanushtitam pungsam. Who's done the 34? So? Shrama eva. Even your Sanatan Dham can be a useless waste of time if you are not developing your love for Krishna. If your love for Krishna is not awakening, or you are not consciously striving to put your heart at Krishna's feet. So when Krishna is satisfied with that, then he reveals everything. But until and unless that's there, then you have to wait and just very patiently and determinedly go on with your service. There was a question. You have a question? Or somebody can give him a microphone? There we are.
What is Krishna's favorite food?
I beg your pardon? Huh? What is Krishna's favorite food?
Food.
What is Krishna's favorite food? Butter. Butter. That's right, you can sit there. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving us enlightenment. Actually, I have a reflection and a question. So let me share. In Allahabad, when Prabhupada was developing a tonic, that was a new medicine because he was a pharmacist.
Yeah.
And he developed very nicely, and he was discussing with one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj,
Yeah.
and his god brother. So he was saying, oh, this is the new tonic, it is going to help X and Y. So that Maharaj responded back and asked him, can you develop a tonic which will give you love of Godhead?
Yes.
And Prabhupada kind of remained silent for some time and then responded, well, I don't have a tonic for love of Godhead, but I know the formula.
The formula, yes.
Yeah. So because you are talking about the love of Godhead, how Sramaya hi Kevalam in that context. And my question is, as you mentioned that we are born as a human form in this planet and 400,000 species of human form. So how many in general in earthly planet, and I believe the demigods is also considered the human beings in terms of human. So is there a categorization that we all are one human being here, or we just many? Would you like to give any
On this planet,
or beyond? Thank you.
we are all descendants of Manu, mankind. Then there are so many. I only know of a few. The Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Kimpurushas, they are human species. But 400,000, I couldn't list them. But on this planet, species doesn't mean race. These categorizations are mundane. Even on this planet, who was it? There was a Swedish monk who came up with the classification of species and genus. Genus being like like canine, and then so you have a different dog is called canine, and then it's given its name, and then you have categorizations of species of dog. But that's just a mundane conception. When we talk about 8,400,000 species, or Prabhupada says forms of life as well, what that actually means is way beyond me. I think, but I have the suspicion when we say, oh, there are so many different species of cat or so many different species of dog. I think in the categorization of 8,400,000 species, they're all just variations of one species, dog or cat. They're variations of the species. So we're just seeing just through a little pinhole, the tiniest little pinhole. And we tend to like roll it off. 8,400,000 species of life. Well, 8,400,000 species. I remember when I was at university, somebody put out a book called 1 Million. And you opened the page up and there were 200 dots on each page. So 200 into 1 million is how many? 200 into 1,000 is 5. 500 pages of 200 dots, a 500-page book. Now, if you think, well, that represents a species, so then each dot, you have a whole description of a species. And then if you say 8,400,000 species, you're talking 8 500-page volumes with and another with 40% of that. We're into inconceivable territory with all of this. The main thing we need to understand is we're all jivas. It doesn't matter what, in terms of mundane classification, it doesn't matter what race or so-called species of human being we are on this planet. We're all one in that we're all human, but we're all jivas. And that's what we need to fix our consciousness on. That all these living entities in all the different species of life, they're suffering jivas in the material world. Yes?
So as you said, that the main goal is to please Krishna, right?
Right.
So like I guess the question for me is like, why do we focus on Vedanta? Why can't you just focus on, like, as Gaudiya Vaishnava? Why do you have to why can't you just focus on Prema Bhakti? Why do we focus on Vedanta?
We don't. We focus on Bhakti Vedanta. Prabhupada says that what's his name? Rupa Vilas, my godbrother, Rupa Vilas. He's written several books. He's written a book about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta called Raya Vishnu. He's written a book called The Seventh Goswami about Srila Bhakti Vinod. He's written a book about Haridas Thakur. And he's written a book about Srila Prabhupada. And it just slips my mind at the moment what the title is. Anyway, in that book, he describes a period where Srila Prabhupada was in New Vrindavan in 1972, which was the first year that Vyasa Puja was celebrated, and it was the first national festival conference of devotees in New Vrindavan. And he gave a series of lectures there on the second chapter of the Bhagavatam, beginning with verse 5. And they're called the Bhagavat Dharma lectures. And in and around there, he's in a room conversation. And somebody asked a very similar question to what you said. And he said, so what is the difference? What is the difference with what we are doing? And he said, you cannot get proper understanding of Vedanta until you hear from a Bhakti Vedanta. Because The Mayavadis use Vedanta to propagate their impersonalism and voidism. And you can miss it. That's why Vyasadeva writes the Bhagavatam. Vaisheshika Prabhu was talking about this yesterday, how the Vedanta begins with Atato Brahma Jigyasa, and then Janmadyasya Yaton. The Brahma is Janmadyasya Yaton, that from which everything emanates. So the problem is, at that point, you can go either way. You can go, oh, Brahman is the impersonal, is the impersonal Brahman, and everything emanates from that. Or you can go the other way, but Vyas was disgruntled because he hadn't done that clearly. He hadn't done that clearly. So then, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadyasya Yaton Vayat. It's Vasudev from whom this is Bhakti Vedanta. Yes?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your lecture. And the verse that we went through, when you first read it, I was perplexed by the way that it was translated, in the sense that it said, when we think that we had met your goodness by the will of Providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship, that we think that we have met you just so that we may accept you. That idea that it's this...
By the will of Providence.
Yes, exactly. Where it's this strange idea where it's the will and providence. Providence tends to be by chance, by...
Oh, no. Oh, no. And here in this latest edition, Providence is spelled with a small letter, but in Prabhupada's original Bhagavatam, it's capital P. And this was very prominent in Christian society for many decades, many centuries. What's the capital of Rhode Island?
Providence.
Providence. Providence means God.
Yeah.
The will of Providence. Providence is a name of God, actually.
Well,
The providential one. We haven't got our etymologist here today, have we? Look up Providence. So I'm sorry. So what was your point?
Oh, no worries. It was more of just by the will of Providence, this idea that there's a will behind everything, just right up in front. I appreciated that because in the metaphor of crossing an ocean, if you are even a degree off, you will end up in the entirely wrong continent.
Yeah.
If you are looking for one port, you are looking for a needle in a haystack on something that even when Srila Prabhupada was on the Jaladutta, he had mentioned that, it would be flat, crystal clear, glassy waters, and an hour later there'd be a storm rolling through that would rock the boat to where he thought it might flip over. And it's this beautiful thing that even the rocking of the boat is the will of Providence. It's not just the will that they met their spiritual master. It's not just the will that they have guidance, but it is also the will that they will come into the suffering of the material world.
Sorry?
That they will come into the suffering of the material world. And they have to have the tools to deal with it. And Krishna, by his grace, has given them the captain of their ship. They've given him the guidance. Because you were just saying, too, about how Mayavadi philosophers also have parampara. But because they don't know or accept the purpose behind the Vedas, that Krishna is behind everything, that the purpose of all of this is to understand him and then to love him. They're starting off on their journey back to Godhead, and they've wound up somehow in the middle of a desert, and they don't know how they managed to get their boat that far onto land. And it's that struggle in the material world where it's the happiness of the material world is so subtle because it is covered by difficulty, like a porcupine is covered by quills. In the Gita, it says that happiness in the mode of goodness at first tastes like poison and then it tastes like nectar. But especially in this world where we have, or in this Yuga where we have, 7-second attention spans, no one's going to look at that poison and say, maybe there's something deeper, maybe there's a beautiful animal under here. Because porcupines have the same temperament as rabbits. You're not going to see anybody saying, oh, I hate rabbits. You just don't tend to hear it. They're just such loving creatures. And so in this world where what is wonderful is so often covered by things that make people put them off and then go towards the things that at first taste like nectar and then taste like poison, that's the true tragedy of the material world without this guidance of the right captain, is you don't have someone who's able to look into the jungle and say, I know the right path. Right. They just start walking.
Exactly. The one point in what you said that you need to reconsider, and that is that we are not in this material world by the will of Providence. We are in this material world because we want to be. Krishna doesn't want us to be in this material world. But once we are in this material world, Krishna does want us to be here until we don't want to be here anymore. And as long as you want something in this material world, then you'll be in the material world. But we come to the material world because we want to. We want to. And we're the minority of living entities. Prabhupada explains how the material world makes up 1/4 of the creation of the Lord, the spiritual world makes up 3/4. Actually, that's only to give us a sense of the proportion. But 1/4 of infinity is... So, we're in the material world because of our own will, or the misuse of our own will. We've misused our free will, and we've entered the material world. And as soon as you enter the material world, the first precondition of entering the material world is total forgetfulness of the spiritual world. And total forgetfulness of the spiritual world means ultimately total forgetfulness of Krishna, total forgetfulness of your relationship with Krishna, and total forgetfulness of the means by which you engage in that relationship with Krishna. And then as soon as that happens, you start missing him. But because you've forgotten him, you don't know what you're missing. So then by that time, you've surrendered your will completely to the 3 modes of material nature. And you make a deal. You take me anywhere you like. Just give me pleasure. But that's not how it works out. But it is the will of the Lord that you come back to him. It is his desire. And he's always making arrangements for you to choose to come back to him. But as I said earlier, those opportunities to make that choice may be a very long time apart. I mean, you can do the math. Lord Chaitanya appears once in a day. Well, that's the other particular point that we can talk about in regard to this Kali Yuga. This Kali Yuga is where Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. This is Krishna. This is Krishna directly appearing in the material world, in the mood and with the complexion of Srimati Radharani, to show us how to practice bhakti yoga in this age. But the particular gift of this is Golokera Prema Dana Hari Nama Sankirtana, that he has brought the gift of Prema Bhakti. He has brought the gift in the first Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a verse which explains Lord Chaitanya has garlanded this whole world with prema. That doesn't happen in every Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya appears once in a day of Brahma. 1,000 Yuga cycles make up the daytime, and another 1,000 Yuga cycles make up the nighttime. And in one of those, Lord Chaitanya appears, and here we are. And that appearance occurs, if you see the arithmetic of it, it's explained 30 days in the month of Brahma, 12 months in a year, so 100 years. It works out to, on 36,000 occasions in the duration of the existence of the universe, Lord Chaitanya appears and manifests this Sankirtan Yagya with the particular caveat that you can actually go back to Goloka Vrindavan. The door to Goloka has been opened again. This is very rarely seen. So this is the will of providence, that this is really the essence of that phrase, the will of providence. And we see in the unfolding of the Bhagavatam that by the time we get to the 11th canto, we learn of the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Before his appearance. So, understanding that this is the essence of the will of providence. And this will help us also, going back to your point. Prabhupada said, I know the formula, Trinada Pisa Nichina, Tarora Pisa Hishtana, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtani Yatsada. And it begins with humility. Krishna's outlining of what are the principles of knowledge in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The first one is Amanitvam, Adambitvam. First is humility. First is humility, then pridelessness. And this kind of meditation on what is the real meaning of the will of providence, what is the real meaning of being here in the Kali Yuga, what is the real meaning of the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this meditation on these things, contemplation of these things, in regard to one's own situation, will help one develop a demeanor of humility. Humility. And you can take that verse, and the translation says, one should chant the holy name in a humble state of mind, devoid of all sense of prestige, ready to offer all respects to others, more tolerant than a tree, more humble than a blade of grass. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. You can flip that into the present tense and say, when one is able to practice all of these things, then one will be able to chant the holy name constantly. It's a practice. We have to practice these things. Does anyone else? Yes. Sorry?
Sorry. Oh, talking about that it doesn't happen, that we can just see Krishna due to our own effort, that he reveals himself eventually. I was thinking that he's so kind that there are little steps, and you were mentioning nectar of devotion. We get a guide, little steps where we get some realization, even though it's not full realization.
Oh,
And that's very heartening, isn't it?
yes, because we need to meditate very deeply on the second verse of the Shikshastakam, to understand that actually Krishna is manifest to us in the form of his holy name. There is no difference between Krishna and his holy name. So he's revealed himself already. He's revealed himself already. And then Nam, Rupa, we have the Lord in his deity form. There's no difference between Krishna and his deity form. So we've actually been ushered into a very intimate and confidential relationship with the Lord by everything Srila Prabhupada has given us. And we need to become absorbed in these practices, deeply absorbed. And then more and more and more the Lord will reveal himself. But he already has revealed himself. We are so dull that we don't see it. And that's another element of becoming humble. I'm dull. I might think I'm a pretty sharp operator, but going right back to the point that I made, so I'm so sharp, what am I doing here in the Kali Yuga anyway? Yeah. I'm such a big deal. Oh, I'm not. Of course, one shouldn't therefore sink into despair and hopelessness at all. I'm fallen, hopelessly fallen, I'm this, I'm that, all negative things. But one should not be thinking, I'm anybody special. The only thing that is special about me is that I've received or I've chosen to accept the mercy of the Lord. There's a beautiful statement in one of Shakespeare's plays, Merchant of Venice, where one character says, "The quality of mercy is not strained, but droppeth like the gentle rain from heaven." So the rain falls everywhere. Yes? So our qualification is that we have accepted the mercy of the Lord. And without that mercy, we're hopelessly adrift in this ocean of Kali Yuga. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. One point you said I had a question about was that Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement will go on for 10,000 years out of the 432,000 years-ish of Kali Yuga. Like, do you know why it's only 10,000 years? Like, why does it end? Shouldn't this movement go on and on?
I'm reminded, with that question, I'm reminded of a story from very early days in the movement where there was one lady, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, was asking him all kinds of questions about what it's like in Goloka Vrindavan and why Krishna does this and why Krishna does that. And Prabhupada said to her, just chant Hare Krishna, go back home to Godhead, and ask Krishna these questions yourself. So, as the saying goes, God only knows. So, I don't know. although you could hazard not a guess, but you could hazard an estimated kind of assessment of that by saying that it's like an aggregation of things. Why does the Lord appear at a particular time and offer something after such a long period of time? Well, there's a gigantic plan unfolding in all of that, and part and parcel of it is the omniscience of the Lord. And then you can ask the question, apart from the fact that it lasts 10,000 years and why, you can ask the question, why am I here now? I mean, you think so many books have been distributed, so many plates of prasadam, so much Harinam has gone on, and all these things are going on. And so many people have received books, taken prasadam, heard the holy name. But why are we here and not so many other people? Because somehow or another, by something that's not known or even understandable to us, the Lord has chosen us, selected us to have this opportunity, and we've chosen to take the opportunity. But there are living entities. One time in a darshan in Vrindavan, Prabhupada said there are living entities who stay in the material world forever because they want to. And he made another point that he said one time, why is it that when we're out on Harinam, people ignore us? He said it is because they're not finished with their material hankering. So 10,000 years is probably long enough to gather up all of the living entities in the material world who want to get out. The rest want to stay. So, bon voyage. Now, you could say that's speculative, but the reality is everything rests upon desire. We're in the material world because we want to be. We stay in the material world for as long as we want, and the Lord actually mandates that. You have to stay in the material world until you don't want to be in the material world. And that will be tested. That will be tested. You have to test yourself about that. How much am I still hankering for something in this world? But I wouldn't say that in any way is a definitive answer to your question. I still rest on my first point. You chant Hare Krishna, go back to Godhead and ask Lord Chaitanya. Why? Why is that? Not to say also that you might obviously find somebody more qualified than me who can actually give you a shastric answer to that question. I can't. Are we finished? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. I especially liked how you explained how Karnadhara means captain. I have a little follow-up to Prabhuji's question. So I've heard also several times that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement will go on for 10,000 years. Prabhupada has also stated that. But I was curious, like, how do we know this? Like, is it mentioned in some book, like Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Chandramrita? Like, I could not find the exact reference. Like, do we have a reference that it will stay for 10,000 years?
Do we? Anyone?
Yeah, it's in the Stockport.
Where? Give this man the microphone.
Yeah, it's not like any Vedic literature it is mentioned. Prabhupada written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think Madhya in one of the purport, he has mentioned that this movement will last, Krishna consciousness movement will last 10,000 years. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth until 10,000 years. That's what he said so. And there is a devotee in Mayapur has written a book. I forgot that he has compiled from more than 25 different Chaitanya Upanishads, then all non from ISKCON or Gaudiya Vaishnavas from other sides, from all the Upanishads he has collected, and he has given the predictions of Lord Chaitanya and why he is there in the first Sandhya to give this knowledge. Because he is merciful to the devotees and he is merciful to the Kali personified. So he is allowing them to also enjoy the remaining ruler, because he is the king of this Kali Yuga. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my grace is 10,000 years. Then after that, he ruled fully. So
after that?
After that, the Kali incarnation ruled the world fully, means fully manifested the Kali's symptoms. So,
did you catch that?
So I don't remember the exact verse, but Prabhupada lectures also said, and in the one of these purport he has mentioned, but there is no such sloka in Bhagavatam. Prabhu.
I don't particularly question that. Prabhupada says it, I'm satisfied. There comes a certain point where you have to accept the Acharya. One thing Prabhupada used to say about us in the Western world is that you want to know why for everything. But I don't think, personally, I don't think it matters. You are here now, and you haven't got much time left to get out of here. But you have 10,000 years. That's a bonus. You don't make it this time, you've still got about another 9,920 years to go, or whatever. And we don't know what 10,000 years of chronological history looks like anyway. You look at the history of any culture, any country, anywhere, you can go back, well, about 1,000 years and have pretty clear chronological picture. After that, maybe another 1,000, 2,000 years, it's kind of sketchy. But once you get, say, 3,000 years back, you're just guessing what's gone on before. So looking ahead 10,000 years, I think we should just be grateful for that we've got a pretty good shot at it. If we stick to it, then there's every chance that we can go back to Godhead. And I think that's really all that matters. Yes? Yes. Yes.
You said the captain of the captain of the ship says it. If the captain of the ship says it, then just stay on board.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't jump ship because you don't get all the answers. If the captain doesn't think it's worth elaborating on it, that's all right. Yes, Mother Shra.
I was just going to say that the verse that Balimardan Prabhu was mentioning, it's in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
8th canto, in the prayers of the demigods before the churning of the ocean happens. There Prabhupada talks about 10,000 years for the Krishna consciousness, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement.
8th canto?
8th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse.
Can we get that up?
8:5:23.
8:5:23. Is there a man there?
We have ChatGPT all around.
Sorry?
We have ChatGPT, so people can bring
8:5:23. What's the translation? Oh, in the purport? Where is it? Shraddha? There we are. Go back up a little. When Krishna appeared, he gave his orders. And when Krishna himself appeared as a devotee, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed us the path by which to cross the ocean of Kali Yuga. That is the path of the Hare Krishna movement. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he ushered in an era of the Sankirtan movement. It is also said that for 10,000 years, this era will continue. This means that simply by accepting the Sankirtan movement and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the fallen souls of this Kali Yuga will be delivered. After the battle of Kurukshetra, at which Bhagavad Gita was spoken, Kali Yuga continues for 432,000 years, of which only 5,000 years have passed. Thus, there is still a balance of 427,000 years to come. Of these 427,000 years, the 10,000 years of the Sankirtan movement, inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago, provide the opportunity for the fallen souls of Kali Yuga to take to the Krishna consciousness movement, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and thus be delivered from the clutches of material existence and return home back to Godhead. Take it. Yes. Yes. It's a little bit, I mean, I don't mean to denigrate you or embarrass you or anything, but the more experience you get in the struggle to practice Krishna consciousness in this age, the more your focus becomes fixed on the things that Prabhupada is saying there. Just chant the holy name. Just get out of this material world. It's no joke, the situation we're in the material world. It's no joke. We are totally imprisoned in Matyaloka. Birth, death, disease, old age, repeat. I was with Srila Prabhupada one time in his little back garden in Vrindavan, and he was ailing very badly. He wasn't well at all. And I had the good fortune to be there with a few other devotees. And in situations like that, Prabhupada would engage us in argument. And so he brought up the point about why should we be serious about this? And he wanted us to argue against that. And he said, you could become a dog in your next life. I couldn't say this now, but then I was a brash young man. I said, well, what's wrong with being a dog? And Prabhupada turned to me, he said, rascal. And then he said, you think you won't become old man like me? Now I'm an old man. And I think, yeah, it's real. Dahinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tatate antara prapti dhiras tatranamuyati. We have to become very sober about this. Our life, our real life, depends on it. And this chance may not come again for a very long time. Don't take it for granted. We should not, and that's one of the problems of the age we live in. Everybody thinks they're entitled. We're entitled to the life we have. But if we develop any kind of complacency or if we become diverted into some little point of gyan about this process, then we'll lose the ability to be grateful for the essence of what we have. Yes? And it rarely comes our way. I've elaborated on it. I could elaborate on that a lot more. The human form of life is very rarely achieved. Very rarely achieved. You could spend 1 million creations as an insect, moving through different forms of insect life, according to your karma. Prabhupada gives the example one time of how, what is the possibility of a turtle coming up out of the depths of the Pacific Ocean, and just as its head breaks the surface of the water, there's a piece of driftwood there with a knothole in it, and he puts his head through that knothole. Do the math. What's the possibility of something like that happening? The possibility of encountering a pure devotee of the Lord in this world is practically incalculable. And here we have the greatest Acharya giving us, Srimad Bhagavatam begins, Nigama kalpa taro galitam phalam sukha mukad amrita drava samyutam. What a beautiful phrase. Amrita drava samyutam. This is deathless nectar. Drava means semi-solid and basically half digested, easy to swallow. And samyutam, perfect in every way. He's delivered that to us. Let's not take this for granted. Let's not take this for granted. He spread, and millions of people all over the world are having their lives turned around by coming in contact, not just with Srimad Bhagavatam, but with, where is he? He's gone. The Bhakti Vedanta purports. Don't underestimate. Again, Srila Prabhupada's humility is exultant. So much so that you can miss him. You can miss the importance of what he's saying by thinking, what arcane reference in the Shastra can I find to verify this point or that point or the other point? He's taken this Amrita Drava, this baby food, and even made it more digestible and easily swallowable. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
His Grace Bhagavata Ashraya Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Please, everybody gives the
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Put the cushions on the side and come for the artik. Hare Krishna. Can I use this one? Is this working? Is this working? Can you turn it on?
How are you?
This is
Good to
so
see you.
amazing, the class.
No.
I have so many reflections, but also there's so many reflections, but also questions. Can I write to you about these questions because they keep coming up? And
You want to text me about it?
yeah.
Well, we can have a call sometime too.
Yeah.
I'm going to Delaware on Wednesday, and I'll be there for several days. I'll be 3 hours ahead of you.
Hare Krishna.
But I'll have some time during the day. So,
That's okay.
You text me. And
So I don't know.
when you want to make a call.
Next time we'll see. Huh?
So it's a different time zone there, isn't it?
You have 2 hours.
You'll only be 2 hours behind. That's good.
1 hour behind you.
Borat.
All right, well,
We'll sing
give me a couple of days' notice. I'm from the Wednesday. I'm traveling from 19th to 27th.
After Borat,
So we'll have a call.
yeah.
Haribol. Thank you.
Jai Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe.
Diva Bahu Kori Chandra
Prabhupada Paramahansa Paribrajikacharya अष्टोत्तर शत वचनार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगत कुशल प्रभुपाद महाराज की नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट अष्टोत्तर शत भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचरित हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम मथुरा धाम की जय श्री श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र धाम की जय गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय ISKCON Transcendental Book Distribution की जय ISKCON Silicon Valley समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So today's Narsingh Day prayers will be dedicating to Radhavallabh Prabhu's mommy, who passed away yesterday, and she was a devotee of Lord Jagannath. So we pray and dedicate Narshimarthi for her safe passage. And Anapayani Bhakti will lead us into the Narsingh prayer. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasingaya.
Bhagavatam ki, Bhakti Shrimani Prahlad Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, and I Gaura Premanande. Ji Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, welcome to this ISKCON Silicon Valley ISV on the Sunday evening. We are very grateful that you are here, and it's just nice to have a good turnout, even though we had a very busy weekend. Did you all enjoy the last weekend? Yes, it was so wonderful, right? I wish, we could just see the video of it and relive it again, right? I know I want to go back and do that. So if you have missed it, please remember to go check out the videos. Last weekend was a wonderful festivity. On Saturday, we asked the puja of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and initiation ceremony on Sunday, where Avantika became Anapayani Bhakti. Okay, good memory. And Balaram became Brajaras Bhavan. Is that right, Balaram? Brajaras? All right. And also we had Raisa become Rasa Purnima. Yes, very nice. We had many other devotees who took initiation, so we are very welcome the new devotees, new initiated devotees again with the new name. We are so grateful to have you around. Okay, without delay, I would like to thank Bhagavat Ashraya Prabhu for wonderful evening lecture this evening at ISV. It's a definitely honor and a privilege to have you. And his accent too was very nice to hear, no? All right, great. Thank you, Balimadan Prabhu. It was actually Brajarasa Sindhu's Brajaras Bhavana. He's singing, so hopefully we'll get to hear him next week or sometime. So, and thank you, Anapayani Bhakti, for the Nashingadev prayer. We appreciate it. Please thank. We have lots of sponsors today. We would like to actually, first of all, let's welcome Keshvi Radhika. Is she here? I just saw her. She's a newborn, yes. So you won't be able to see her because still she looks like in mommy's womb. But come forward, Keshvi Radhika. So we welcome our little Keshvi Radhika to ISV family. And it is her first Sunday at ISV. That's her. So please, everyone, bless little Keshvi Radhika. Isn't this wonderful? With this, also, we would like to thank our sponsor for this evening. One of the sponsors for this evening is Jai Shri Radhe and Sachinandan Nimai, welcoming Sambhavi, who was born on Ekadashi, Indira Ekadashi. So it's a bundle of joys coming to ISV. This is so beautiful. All right, then we have a next sponsor, Govind Charan Prabhu and Rasika. If you come forward, please. They are sponsoring for in the memory of their father-in-law, Shyamasundar Prabhu, who passed away in Vrindavan. Come forward, Rasika, and please, Govind Charan Prabhu, if you are here. And would you like to share something about your dad? Okay, we have Rasika. She'll cover for him.
Hare Krishna. Govind Charan's father, Shyamasundar Prabhu, is a disciple of His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj. He spent his last few years in Vrindavan. He developed a taste to live in Vrindavan, and then he came to Chennai, and that's where he passed away. We request all the devotees to pray for him. Thank you.
We always like to hear from Govind Charan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Please pray for my dad. He had such a nice desire to serve in Shri Vrindavan Dham. And in fact, he wanted to become a sannyasi. We told him, Dad, you are doing okay. Your white dress is enough. And he didn't listen to us. He went to Loi Bazar and got some saffron dress and went straight to Guru Maharaj, and he took a picture with him. So he was so enthusiastic to serve in the Dham. So please pray for him. Thank you.
I also remember him very dearly from Govindas, right? I had seen him there, yeah. Okay, we have a next sponsor who is not here, but please pray. They are also sponsoring for their father or one of the in-laws for Shraddha ceremony. That's Deepika and Jayesh. They might be online, but thank you for sponsoring. We give them a big round of applause. And okay, did I miss anyone else? Is any other sponsor that Sri Gopal Prabhu is out today? It's Advaita's back to school, so I'm just covering in. Okay, we do also have a next, that's the Prahalad crying because he's hungry. And today is going to be his first grain ceremony. And we have a privilege to have Bhagavat Ashraya Prabhu, and he would be giving him his first grain. So please bless the baby Prahlad, and Vishakha is also sponsoring the feast. Prabhu, come forward. I see Prabhu in the back. And Vishakha, Siddharth and Vishakha, come forward. Would you like to say anything? Please come forward.
Hare Krishna devotees, we're sponsoring the feast for Prahlad. So please give your blessings that he can be a nice devotee and serve Srila Prabhupada's movement. And later, if whoever wants to come, you can feed him as well.
Thank you, Sir. Hare Krishna. Okay, next, I won't keep you from the prasadam, but we also wanted to let you know that next Saturday is a Harinam. Harinam is going to be in the Palo Alto, University Avenue. So please join us at Saturday at 6:59 p.m. Okay? 6 p.m. No, it's a 6:59, 7 o'clock we start. Okay? All right, so look out for the announcements from Shamalangi, and she will be sending the email, so you will know that after book distribution to join us at the Harinam, okay? We have the cook's announcement, and that's going to be done by... No, we have the new... Yes, honey, remind me your name again? Tanvi. Tanvi, please go ahead and announce all the cooks for today evening.
Okay, so today's lead cook was Shyama Karuna Prabhu, with the help of Gopi Priya Mataji, Arushi Mataji, Hema Mataji, Manasi Mataji, Neha Mataji, Krishna Leela Mataji, Shruti Mataji, Keli Kunji Kumari Mataji, Mukta Mataji, Divya Ananda Prabhu, Hitesh Prabhu, Tapamay Prabhu, Santosh Prabhu, Braja Asa Bhavana Prabhu, Raghav Prabhu, Vishal Prabhu, and Shyama Bhaktadas Prabhu.
Okay, while Tanvi was reading all the cook's name and helper's name, I saw Twinkle. I would like to welcome back Twinkle. Is Anupam here as well? Okay, please let's welcome Anupam Prabhu and Twinkle Mataji. Anupam Prabhu, come forward, please. Would you like to say anything? Twinkle and Anupam used to be part of the ISV community. This is, if I recall correctly, in 2000, 99. Yeah, so please tell us what brings you back today. And what's going to take to keep you here, keep coming again. All right, oh wow, Surbi was like a born here, right? Yeah, so we're very happy to have you, Anupam Prabhu and Twinkle. Welcome back. And please let us know what it takes you to really keep here. Hare Krishna. Okay, Aradhya ready for Prasadam prayer? Haribol, see? Prasadam prayer. Come on, Aradhya, you can be more enthusiastic.
Sharira Vidyaja Jorandiyata Heka Vive Pele Vishaya Sagore Karamabhikati Yoga Mosudumati Take Jita Katina Samsare Krishna Bada Joya Moy Kori Bara
Please come take prasadam in the picnic area. Hari Bol.